Welcome to At the Fence Line with your hosts, Sara Chambers and Gavin Betker.
Good morning, Sara.
Hey, Gavin. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yep, doing good.
Nice. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, sure. Why don't you tell everybody what this episode is about, and then we'll talk about how excited I am or not.
Sounds good. That's kind of why I'm ramped up a little bit. I'm excited for this. It's a special episode. This is our About Us episode. We'll spend a bit of time today telling you about us, and then we are going to have a fun Q&A between Sara and I. Did you want to tell them a little bit more about that, Sara?
For sure, yeah. So the reason why I say I'm maybe excited or not, I feel like this is the episode that no one really listens to. So we'll see. So if you are here listening, thank you for that. Our producer, shout out to Tanner, said that we need to record this episode that everybody wants to know about Gavin and I. So we are going to do the sort of intro that we would normally do to people that, we're meeting for the first time in a professional setting, like what qualifies us to be in this room kind of thing. And then we asked our assistant producer, shout out to ChatGPT, for a list of questions that we're maybe going to dive a little bit deeper, and some questions that even if you've worked with Gavin and I before, you maybe don't know the answer to. So hopefully that keeps everybody around till the end.
Yeah, I think it will. So, I'm Gavin Betker. I'm one of the co-hosts of the At the Fence Line podcast here with Backswath. And when I'm not doing the podcast, I'm a farm management consultant, a software developer. I'll put that in quotes because I don't do programming myself, but I am involved in the process of our sister company, Farmcaster. And I also teach. So I do some teaching at the University of Manitoba in the Diploma in Agriculture program. So yeah, I was born and raised on a farm in Souris, Manitoba, until about my mid-teens, and that's when Terry, who is the CEO and founder of Backswath, that's my dad. So that's when Terry and my mom moved the family into Winnipeg. So I have a mix of rural and city in my past. That is it's in me. I love being right in like downtowns and urban environments, but I'm also quite comfortable. And I love being out on farms, visiting farms. Even went back in my early 30s and farmed for a few years with my uncle on the family farm. So I learned how to get how to drive tractors and get swathers stuck and seed and run grain carts and all that fun stuff. And I loved it. And then after that, I transitioned into being a farm management consultant. So my education background, I have a Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Manitoba. And with my farming experience and some previous job experience in management in the window and door industry, I think it puts me in a good spot to be a farm management consultant. So the farming background and the business background. And I really like it. I really like meeting families. I like learning about farm families and their journeys. And I help where I can. When I teach, it's similar material to what I consult to farmers. So it's farm financial management, financial analysis, and helping prepare those students to face the challenges, to get them the best prepared that they can be to face the challenges for their farming careers. Most of the students that I teach do go back to the farm and farm with their families. So that's a little bit about me, Sara.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks. That was great. I grew up in rural Manitoba, southern Manitoba in Morden, and did not grow up on a farm, but got lots of exposure to a variety of agricultural businesses growing up there. Lots of friends that were on farms, and attended lots of farmers markets with my mom. So I guess, we were, there was some, I guess, farming in our background from an early time. But I did not grow up on a farm. So that was how I grew up. And then I went to University of Manitoba and studied in agriculture. So I have a Bachelor of Science in Animal Production and Agriculture. And after I finished at U of M, I moved to Southern Africa and worked for 6 years in hospitality management alongside my husband. And so got quite a bit of experience managing a business with my spouse, with a member of my family, and just a variety of sort of different management trials and tribulations to overcome that really, really made me passionate about leadership, about management, and just the different ways that I think leaders can sort of bend and, shape themselves so that they can accommodate the people that work for them. And just different ways to kind of find success as a leader that maybe don't seem completely obvious to everybody right off the get-go. So I did that. And then when I came back to Canada, I started working for Backswath. I've been with Backswath for 5 years now. My current role is farm management consultant. I specialize in human resources. So again, just really passionate about leadership, about communication. And then I've also just recently been appointed the director of operations because I really love telling Terry what to do. So he made it formal. So that's me. Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Do you think we should tell the audience of some of the projects that you and I have done together?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think yeah.
So
Right.
Sarah and I have different styles, but we work really well together as a team. One of my favorite, well, I'm just going to talk about one. One of my favorite projects that I work with Sara on is our Emerging Farm Manager Peer Group program. And so, like Sara mentioned, she's the director of operations. She's very task oriented, detail oriented, and keeps projects moving. Let's say. And so my brain's wired a little bit differently. I like to think big, and I like to be. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I'm a little bit slower on moving tasks forward because I'd like to get it perfect. And Sarah's like, no, that's good enough. Let's keep going. So those two different styles work really well together. And I think you'll probably see evidence of that through our podcast journey as well.
Yeah.
So excited to do this episode and to keep putting out content for you guys.
Yeah, that's really great. You forgot to mention that you are generally the creative and the innovator. I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but that's the other big thing that I think you bring when you and I pair up together is that sort of mind. I don't have much of that. So
Well, thank you. That is kind of what I was trying to get at, but you said it very well, and thanks for the compliment. Yeah.
So now we're going to dive into the questions that maybe we don't get asked very often or that we don't ask other people. So again, we, both have a list. Neither of us know what the other person is going to ask. So there might, be a bit of a shock or take a minute to kind of collect our thoughts to make sure that we give a good answer. But I'm going to start. Gavin, I'm going to ask you, I think we should just go back and forth. So I'll ask you the first one and then, you can ask me a question. So I'm going to dive in. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, no, ready. Yeah.
Okay. So
as ready as I can be. So.
First question, who did you vote for in the last federal election? I'm just kidding. Totally. Can you imagine? Okay, no, that's not the question. You ready though? No.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the first question is, what is something that you have done that you're really proud of, but maybe don't talk about very much?
Okay. So to be completely honest to the viewers, I saw the list of questions. And so we didn't know which ones we were going to pick to ask each other. Yeah. But I saw them all. And I thought about each of them a little bit in case you surprise me with one. And, this one is a little bit of a surprise. But if I had to share something that I'm proud of that maybe I don't talk about a lot is there's a charity in Winnipeg that I'm actually not involved with anymore. But for about 4 years, I was on the board of directors. It's a volunteer board. And the charity is called Motion Ball. And it's a fundraiser for the Special Olympics. And so it's a really, really fun day of playing sports with a team that you bring. And you get paired up with a Special Olympian. And what I really liked about the event is that at the end of the day, it's just you have a really special good feeling because you've used your body, you've been active, and so that obviously makes you feel good. but the inclusivity of playing those sports with a Special Olympian, and making sure that they're involved and having fun, and it's their day, it's for them, and we're raising money as well. So that's another good thing about it. Raising money for the Special Olympics initiative in Manitoba and across Canada. So when I was volunteering on that board, I was the director of operations.
Okay.
Getting all of the fields ready and all of the sports equipment, and helping the DJ and the music get set up, and just kind of being a logistical facilitator, just making sure that all of the operational stuff was put in place. Other members on the board were involved with marketing and team recruitment and Special Olympian liaison with Special Olympics Manitoba and Special Olympics Canada. But yeah, that's something I'm really proud of, because it's ongoing. It still continues to run in Winnipeg. It grows a little bit every year. And I was there pretty early on to help it kind of get its foothold and get established. But that would be my answer for that.
That is a great answer. That's really, I actually didn't know Gavin. So
Okay.
nice one.
My next question back to you is not quite as serious. This is one of the more on the lighter side of things, but we'll get into a couple. I've got some highlighted ones where I think we'll pick your brain a little bit more. But this one is, what's your go-to snack or drink on the road when you're going out to visit farmers?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I am somewhat of I'm a snacker. I would just snack all the time if that was an option to me. I wouldn't eat meals. I love a good roadside charcuterie. So just like from the grocery store, just like grapes and salami, crackers and cheddar cheese.
I need to go on farm visits with you.
I bring good snacks, but it's a very basic charcuterie. But that would be it. Yes, I'm and not energy drinks, just like a variety of coffees and waters as well. Normally every cup holder is full in my car. So yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Good one. Okay. I'm excited to ask you this one because I know I've seen pictures of you and I think a video, but didn't hear the audio. So that's why I wanted to ask you this. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, I don't really have a go-to, because I love karaoke. And as soon as I get comfortable in like the setting and stuff, yeah, I have no problem going up and singing karaoke. My go-to one though, it's nice and short, and it's a little bit of a punk song, so you don't have to worry about, hitting the notes or being a great singer or anything like that, which I'm not. But I would say it's "I Fought the Law" by The Clash. So it's like 2.5 minutes. You get to repeat a bunch of lines, and it's fun. It gets people moving a little bit, and then it's done early. So that's my go-to karaoke song.
That is great. Yeah. Wow.
I think you might have seen pictures or a video of my sister and I doing "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
But that is not going to get published. Sorry to the viewers. You'll never see that because I actually kind of botched it. We had a lot of fun, but yeah, I forgot some of the lines. And I had a bit of stage fright on that one.
Can I tell you mine, even though you're not asking?
Yeah, please.
Because I feel like this is unexpected for me, or maybe it's not. If you work for Backswath, you hear me talking about how I play my saxophone all the time. So I do have I come from a very musical family. My sister and brother-in-law are both music teachers. My dad is a professional musician. Mine is "Lose Yourself," Eminem, 8 Mile.
I would never have guessed that.
That is my go-to. And the last time I did it, the guy who was like running the karaoke that night, we got into like kind of a rap battle. So like he heard me do it, and then he went and did a rap song and was like, "Come on." And so then I had to go and like pull some Nicki Minaj out. It was a whole thing. It was really the highlight of anything musical I've ever done.
So when you're doing "Lose Yourself," do you need the teleprompter, or do you like just know all the words?
Well, I know all the words, every single word. I really invested. I really took the time to learn the song so that I could just be my most gangster self whenever I karaoke.
Well, you've already surprised me today. That's incredible.
There you go.
I need to see that someday. Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so I know you jumped in there with your answer to that one, which is great, but it's my turn to ask you another question. So
Yeah.
probably change gears here a little bit. This is back to one of the more, yeah, I'm interested to know what you think is a trend that's overrated right now.
In life
I
or
think no context, just any context you want to answer. Yeah.
um that's a really good question. I strongly dislike cancel culture. I don't know if that's still a trend or if people talk too much about not liking it, that maybe it's not anymore. Um I don't like this notion of judging people so harshly that people can't redeem themselves or, have second chances or lives are destroyed or whatever. I don't know. I think that everybody's going through stuff. And I also am a firm believer that we're all doing the best that we can. So I think that this idea that people can just be, you know, erased in the court of public opinion, I really don't like.
Okay.
So
I agree, because I know that there's some things I've done pre-social media that if it got out, people would have a wildly different opinion of me. And yeah, I've grown and changed as a human, and we all do. But I love the way that you said that we're all trying our best. I believe that too, 100%.
yeah. Okay. Um, Great. Okay. What excites you the most about the next 10 years of your life? Personally, professionally, whichever direction you want to go.
Okay. Um, Personally, this is a. I need a little bit of time to think about this one, but I'm going to think as I make a little bit of a lighthearted comment to start. In the next
Well, I thought
month,
you said you had thought about the
no,
questions before.
in the next, yeah, well, I wasn't prepared for this one, so, but I do have an idea to start off with. So, in the next month of my life, my car will be paid off. So that excites me.
No kidding.
But more seriously, and again, I'm just going to go personally. A few years ago, I injured my knee quite badly, and you know this, Sarah. I tore my ACL and my meniscus and a couple of other ligaments in my knee, and that set me back on. I like to play team sports, and I like to be, fairly active. I'm not an athlete or anything by any means, but that changed my life quite a bit because I missed that whole social aspect of team sports and the health benefits of just being active. I've it's been a journey to get back to being in shape to play those sports again. And I'm there. It took me a little longer than normal for the recovery. I had some setbacks and another ankle injury on my other leg, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what excites me about the next 10 years is just my personal health and wellness journey. Feeling a lot better today and these days than I have in quite a while, and so that excites me.
Nice.
Um, Professionally, I'm pretty stoked on the things that we're doing at Backswath and where we're going. There's a lot. I'm not going to list all of them. I'm just going to say in general, yeah, things are lining up really well. I love the team. Gets me excited to log on to my computer every day and see where we can grow and how we can continue to serve our clients.
Cool.
Okay. Um, well, I like the way that these are going because the next one I'm going to ask you is a little bit more on the lighthearted side.
Great.
So non-work related. What's your favorite place in the world to relax or recharge?
Mm. Good question. Okay, so as I mentioned, I lived in Southern Africa for a bit. So I've been fortunate to travel a little bit through Europe, and then obviously quite well, somewhat extensively through Southern Africa. The job that I had was conducive to travel. So I know South Africa quite well. I know Namibia quite well. Um, and because I worked in hospitality, I've stayed at, 5-star locations, 5-star lodges, like some of the most beautiful places you could ever imagine. Um, and have had incredible wildlife experiences as well. My husband was a safari guide, so that's really great if you like wildlife, which I do. My favorite place to rest and recharge, I would say, is in Namibia. So we lived in very, very a remote area. We were 4 hours away from the nearest kind of major town. Um, And of course, when you work in hotels, you can't use the pool. Like that's for the guests.
Mhm.
So where I lived, it was also very hot. So February, it was common to have like 50 degrees Celsius days. And so our favorite place to go, there was, in the middle of the desert, this natural spring that like nobody knew about it really except for us and one other person, which was a cattle farmer, because that's where he would take his cows to drink and cool off. So there was this natural spring that was basically full of cow manure. And that was our pool. That was our favorite pool. We would bring a speaker, we would bring some chairs and stick them in the water because the floor was really gross. Your feet would sink into it. So we had to like bring the chairs so that our feet didn't have to go in. But that was absolutely my favorite place because I got to be in the middle of nowhere in Namibia. We always, we were with friends. So it was always nice to kind of switch off from what was going on at work and get to enjoy this incredible place that we lived in. And I love places like that are just like off the beaten trail. So
Very cool.
yes,
I was painting a mental picture for myself, but I don't think that would ever do it justice.
yeah, I mean, and there are sheer cliff faces and then this random stream. And so the place that we lived was one of the only places left in the world where there are desert adapted elephants. So like herds of elephants would walk through there sometimes. It's very cool. That's it. Sorry. That's we have a cabin. We like going there too. Maybe a bit more relatable for people, but yes, if it wasn't a whatever 20-hour plane ride away, then that's where I would choose to go first.
Mhm.
My next
Awesome.
question is not so lighthearted, but what's a life lesson that you learned the hard way?
That's a really good one. A
And I'm
life
asking
lesson.
it because I'm hoping if it was on your list, now you can ask me because I don't answer this one.
Well, just so you know, that you're not worried. It's not one of the ones I had marked to ask you. So
Great.
a life lesson that I learned the hard way. Um, I didn't ever learn this because of one specific experience where that might be kind of where that question is leading. This has been more of a collection of milder experiences and just learning how to be not so judgmental and be more open to different ideas, different um, like constructs of thinking, different approaches to how people see the world. That's politically, socially, and et cetera, et cetera. Um, I think like a lot of people, not everybody, but like a lot of people in my late teens and early 20s, I had the whole world figured out. I knew what was right and wrong and what people should be doing and what people shouldn't be doing. But that's changed quite a bit. And again, it's not because of one specific experience that I had to learn the wrong way. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of maybe dodging the question or reframing the question, but through a collective experience over my adult life, I've just found that giving people more understanding, more compassion, more empathy, and just understanding that everybody has different backgrounds and different ways of seeing the world, and just try not to be so judgmental. Yeah, I hope that maybe answers the question a little bit. That
Yep.
would be my answer to that. Yeah.
Cool. Should we do one more question each?
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I've got one for you, and it is just scrolling a little bit here.
Pick the best.
Okay, all right. If you could instantly master a skill outside of being a farm management consultant, what would it be?
I think you want me to answer like something really deep and meaningful, and I don't. Um, my immediate thought is remembering people's names. Oh, and I know that's so horrible. That's so like shallow and surface, but I am awful with remembering names, and I feel like that's not great when you work with people. Like when you claim to be a people person that feels really passionate about people in the workplace to suck at remembering their name feels lame. And I've tried all the tricks, like
Hmm.
I don't know, I've tried that stuff. It just never works for me. When I meet people for the first time, I'm a little bit nervous and awkward, and my mind is running through too many things to actually listen to what the person's name is. So sorry if you've met me and you matter and you make an impact, but your name does not when I meet you for the first time.
I agree. If I could master that instantly, which was the question, that's a great. I know what you're saying about it not being a super deep answer, but that would be really useful.
And I think I'd really, because nothing, I love that feeling when I meet someone for the first time and then they repeat my name back and they use it throughout the conversation. It makes me feel really important to that individual. And so I wish I could do it so that I could give that to other people. So because I would use it all the time. If I could remember someone's name, I would say it a lot in a conversation. So anyways. Okay. I'm cheating and I have 2 questions for you. I'm going to ask you a question and then I want to ask you another one because I want you to close it off with the last question. So, the second last question. What's a small, simple change you suggested that made a big impact for a client?
Well, I think we talked about this in a couple of our initial episodes. Is basic communication. I mean, I think, like you mentioned earlier about it being a kind of an obvious answer or not a super deep one, it is just so powerful to just take your farm management practices, formalize your communication, your meeting structure, and just take that first step. It just the benefit compared to the amount of effort and work required on doing it, and I might I might be making it seem like it's a little easier than it is because it's not always easy. But it tends to not be as hard as people think, and the benefits are just really, really impactful. So my answer to that would be, yeah, just taking your farm management practices and formalizing the communication just bit by bit. Some of those early returns, some of the returns on that little bit of work can be really impactful for a farm family and a farm management team.
One of the things I really like that answer. One of the things that we say a lot is, I'll often ask families, like, do you think things are going to get more complicated or less? Do you think your farm's going to get bigger or is it going to get smaller? Do you think that the problems you're having now are going to grow or are they going to just magically go away on their own? And so, I totally agree with what you've said. That one thing, just even though some people are resistant to formalizing some of what they do, just taking one small step like that, like regular meetings, throw in an agenda. Hey, let's have some action items and keep track of that kind of stuff. Just that one small thing snowballs and grows as your business grows. And if you put those structures in place now when things are, maybe not so complicated, it's really setting you up for success in the future.
Yeah, it's a really good foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so the last question of the day is, what do you hope listeners will take away from this podcast?
Well, I hope listeners will take away farm management practices and insights that will help them in their specific situation. We're going to cover a lot of different topics. So I hope that, if you're listening to a topic that's maybe not relevant to your situation presently or might never be relevant to your situation because all farms are different, then I hope that, we're engaging enough or entertaining enough that you'll stay with us. But when it does come to a topic that is relevant and is topical for your farm business life cycle, maybe your personal life cycle, that I hope we can share some wisdom, some farm examples, some of the things that we see when we work with our farm clients, and that I just hope it helps. I hope that this format of content delivery will supplement what we do when we work with our clients one-on-one. And yeah, I'm just hoping for the best. I'm just hoping that where people take away the odd nugget here or there, and they can follow up, or they can do some additional research and apply it to their farms, and that, I guess fingers crossed that it helps a farm or two. I mean, at the bare minimum, if we help a couple farms, then I think it's worth it. If we help a lot of farms, even better.
Totally. That was great.
Okay, so thank you very much thank you, Sarah, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. I hope that helps you get to know Sarah and I a little bit better. And Sarah, do you have any last words before we sign off?
I think the only thing would be that if you want to send us a voice note or reach out to us through, any of Backswath's social media, please do. We will get your message. If there's topics that you are specifically interested in hearing about, or if you just want to let me know what your go-to karaoke song is, please send that through to us. We would love to hear from you guys. And I think that's it for this one. Thanks, Gavin. This was great.
Yeah, thank you too. See you
Okay.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of At the Fence Line with Sarah Chambers and Gavin Betker. If you have any questions or comments about today's episode or would like to get in touch with us, please find us on Instagram at Backswath_MGMT or through our website at www.backswath.com. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views, policies, or positions of Backswath or its affiliates. Any reference to specific products, services, organizations, or individuals does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Backswath.